Troy wants to go out with Gabriella, and they want to perform a show. They just want him to focus on his one thing, but Anakin has a really hard time just focusing on the one thing.
No.
Yes. It's blowing my mind that I'm explaining this to you right now.
Is that what
the robot guy?
Oh.
The one that sounds like his emphysema. He's like coughing.
Yeah, George Lucas voiced him.
Yes, he's... How long were you waiting to fire that off? I started to draw this comparison between Anakin and... Welcome back to the Dinks and Disney Podcast. I'm Jade.
I'm Ashley.
We're going to talk about Disney stuff and some fitness.
Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room. You can see us.
Yeah, you can see us now. This is the first video podcast that we've done. All the time I'm doing like short form stuff, like little clips. So yeah, it's kind of weird to like talk at you. Eventually, we will have like nice neon signs up here and stuff. But for now, we just have our dog's toys. To let everyone know, this is a Disney podcast.
It is.
And fitness. I thought it'd be fun if I explained Star Wars to you like we were two girls gossiping.
Okay. I don't know. I've seen the...
You've seen Revenge of the Sith. No, it's the third one.
Third one.
Oh my gosh.
What is the other one?
Rogue One.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm positive. Because I didn't really love it, but it's like, that's a whole other thing. Like, I know tons of people love Rogue One. That's really great, and I'm happy for you. I understand it was a good movie.
I don't really remember it, if I'm totally honest. I just know that I was there.
So, there's this really exclusive boys club. Well, actually, no, there's girls in it. And it's really hard to get in with them, and like, you can't sit with them at lunch. And it's really hard. And then once you get out, they really won't let you back out.
Get out of what?
The club, like the cool kids club. One of the main guys, the cool guy group. Like, imagine Troy. He wants to go out with Gabriella. So there's a Gabriella in Star Wars whose name is Padme, and so she's a senator, which is outside of the cool kids club. Troy wants to go out with Gabriella, and they want to perform a show that is outside of both of their roles.
What is the cool kids club? What is it called?
It's the Jedi.
Oh,
the Jedi are the cool kids.
You have to specify, otherwise I'm not.
I mean, they kind of like run stuff, right? Like the Jedi kind of make all the choices. They help influence like the Senate and the Congress and all that stuff. But they're like the good guys, right? Like they're the ones everybody wants to be like.
Oh, okay.
So like, imagine the Jedi are the East High Wildcats. The East High Wildcats don't want Troy to go sing. They don't want him to do that. They want him to lead him to a state championship. And in Star Wars, they want Anakin to lead them to a peaceful galaxy. They want him to kill all the Sith. They just want him to focus on his one thing, but Anakin has a really hard time just focusing on the one thing. Anakin doesn't want to be a part of the cool kids club anymore. He wants to start his own club. You've got the science kids over here, right? Or the theater kids.
Would this be the dark side?
Yes.
Okay.
So let's say the theater kids, because Sharpay's a right?
Whoa.
Oh. Right.
Henry, bleep that out.
Sharpay's mean, right? So she's the Sith. So instead of being a Sith or a Jedi, he thinks he can be kind of somewhere in the middle. He thinks he can learn to sing and also lead the basketball team to a state championship.
He can't do that.
You can't do both. Yeah.
Why?
You just stick to the status quo. That's why. He thinks he's becoming this new thing where you can be like a basketball player, you can be a singer, you can be a nerd or whatever. In reality, he's just becoming a theater kid. He's letting the basketball team down. And so Anakin thought he was becoming something different, like something somewhere in the middle.
Uh-huh.
But in reality, he just became a Sith anyway. I don't know where he thought like killing kids was like somewhere in the middle.
Well, he had to because Emperor Palpatine told him to.
I don't know if anyone listening to this has ever seen the show Robot Chicken, but it was on... I promise this comes around. So Robot Chicken did a bunch of like parody Star Wars episodes. And there's a parody Star Wars episode where Emperor Palpatine's sitting at a desk. He goes, "Hey, Darth, what's up? How you doing?" And he was like, "Hey, I forgot to mention, there's probably some kids there, like younglings, but we could just raise them as Sith and like, it'll be a good thing." And he was like, "You did what?"
Honestly, that would have been such a better idea.
Oh, raising him to be Sith?
Yeah, why didn't they think of that?
So in Star Wars, there's a rule of 2. So the Sith only ever have 2. I don't know. The Jedi have thousands, right?
But
thousands.
they have a whole army, so how is there only 2?
What do you mean?
The Sith, they have a whole army, don't they?
No, they have clones and stuff like that. And just, or no, I'm sorry, they have stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So stormtroopers are just recruited guys, like how you recruit in the army.
But they don't have the Force.
No.
What's that? Oh, okay. There can only be 2 that have the Force.
It's blowing my mind that I'm explaining this to you right now.
But am I understanding?
Just because you're like fighting for the Sith does not make you a Sith Lord.
Oh,
the Sith Lords are just Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine. Emperor Palpatine was explaining to Anakin that he killed his master, Darth Plagueis.
Yeah.
So then Anakin became his apprentice. So like there was the Emperor, there was Count Dooku.
Voiced by George Lucas.
No, that was General Grievous.
No.
Yes.
Is that what he
robot,
told you?
the robot guy.
Oh.
The one that sounds like he's emphysema. He's like coughing.
Yeah,
all the time.
George Lucas voiced him.
Yes, how long were you waiting to fire that off? The one's listed.
Did you know?
Yeah, did you know that General Grievous was voiced by George Lucas? Star Wars and High School Musical have the same plot, which we were watching earlier. By the BT Dub, we were watching that earlier.
It's a good movie.
It's a really good movie. I'm okay. Honestly though,
It's a trilogy.
Honestly though, which one's your favorite?
The second one.
Second one?
I think it's like pretty much everybody's favorite.
No, I think third one was great. The third one, when they got a little money, come on, they got some.
I mean, the production value was there, but I feel like the music in the second one was a lot better.
I mean, they shot the first one on an iPhone 11. So
It was the first Twilight on like an iPhone.
No, I'm sorry. It was like it would have been like the original iPhone.
Never.
Yeah, it would have been the original iPhone.
Yeah, but it was great and people loved it.
This is a callback to one of the mindset videos that I did for the group. And if you're watching this or listening to this and you're not in our Disney Adult Fitness group, what are you doing? You should come join.
Magical Transformations on School with a K.
Link below. This is one of the mindset trainings that I came up with. And so it was funny. We were actually at the theater watching Revenge of the Sith. I started to draw this comparison between Anakin and what was happening in the movie to like a lot of people on their fitness goals and their nutrition goals. Everything that happened in Revenge of the Sith just came down to patience. I mean, it literally just came down to Anakin rushing to a solution.
That's so true.
Right. So like Anakin has this dream, right? That Padme's dying. She's going to die in childbirth. She's not going to make it. It's the love of his life. Like he would rather not be a Jedi and have her than stay a Jedi and lose her, right? So he rushes to find a solution.
I know there are things about the Force that they're not telling me.
They don't trust you, Anakin.
They see your future. They know your power will be too strong to control. You must break through the fog of lies the Jedi have created around you.
And I feel like a lot of times when it comes to like fitness and nutrition and the journey, people will just rush to find this solution instead of letting the real thing that's going to work for them take the time that it needs to work. I use the Sith as like the bad thoughts that you have like on the journey. They're like, you got to just not let the Sith in. This isn't fast enough.
Yeah.
We need to speed this up. We need to do more. This isn't enough.
Love won't save you, Padme. Only my new powers can do that.
At what cost? You're a good person. Don't do this.
I won't lose you the way I lost my mother. I am becoming more powerful than any Jedi has ever dreamed of. And I'm doing it for you. To protect you.
Come away with me. Help me raise our child. Leave everything else behind while we still can.
Those thoughts are ultimately why people don't make it.
Those thoughts force you to jump from thing to thing. Because like you give one thing, I don't know, a couple of weeks, whatever. It's not working, so you move to something else super quick. And then you just kind of bounce around and you never really land on anything permanent.
But it's like the Sith. It's those thoughts. It's those like temptations that kind of like weasel their way in that make you be like, well, keto didn't work. But like maybe it's just because intermittent fasting was really the way to do it.
Well, and like there's so much information out there that I think it's just hard for people to like settle on something like concrete. We talk about it all the time. Like there's so much information on social media in general just about like ways to lift weights, ways to lose weight, ways you should be eating. Like an oversaturation, and I think it confuses people.
I was talking about this the other day with somebody, and there should always be an operational hierarchy when you make a choice. It's really, really simple. It basically just says that like this matters the most. And so I will first make a choice based on this factor. But if it meets that factor, you can go to the next thing. And like the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And that's how you like really like whittle through a choice instead of just hoping to see some sort of data to back up your choice. Because that's the other thing too, is that we never take enough data to really know if what we were doing was actually working. We give it like a month or 2 weeks or whatever. That's it. We just say like, well, whatever, this isn't going to work for me.
How should we be giving it, I guess, for people who would ask that question?
At least 90 days. For some people, 6 months. Some people, 9 months. I mean, like it's long. Like I gained 50 pounds. I'm losing 50 pounds. Wait, I started January. So I'm 4 or 5 months in now. By the way, this is not like 4 or 5 months of like the strictest cutting of my entire life.
No, I feel like this has been relaxed for you. And all the times I've seen you do a cut, like this is pretty relaxed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's because I wanted to come at it from the approach of like, you know, how lean can I get when I still indulge once every like 2 weeks or whatever? Like this weekend got away from me quite a bit.
Yeah, but I think sometimes, and I think this is a good point for other people to know, I think sometimes you just need that. Like all week you were thinking about, having pizza, you were thinking, oh my gosh, I need to get pizza, and like our local pizza place that he enjoys eating.
It's a lot. Shout out.
They're definitely not watching. Those of you who are like, oh my gosh, I just need to have that one cookie, but it can't, it just inside you, it just hurts so bad. Just have it. Like, it's okay to have that. And we have that talk a lot. If you're thinking about it, all it's going to do is just tempt you even more, and it's going to defeat you if you make yourself think that you can't have those things, because you can.
I get a question all the time. It's like, well, how do you track when you're at Disney? Like, how do you track your food when you're at Disney, I guess?
You don't.
There's some people in the group, especially, who live behind.
If you live, yeah, if that's not like,
they live next to it, so it's not an option.
If you're going on a vacation, don't track your food. But if you're like a local, and this goes for like any type of theme park, any type of anything, if you're a local and it involves food, like, there are ways to make it work if you join school.
You join the school group.
This is an obnoxious plug. Like, you and I have, more so in the last couple of months, I think, than ever, done a really job of playing with like having different foods that aren't necessarily considered healthy, but we make that work within our macros.
The whole bulk and the entire cut that I did, I don't know when I started bulking now. It would have been like
October of last year, I think.
I only watched calories and protein, the whole bulk, and now I'm only watching calories and protein, the whole cut. I'm not done, so I'll keep going with it.
Do you find that more feasible long term than tracking like protein, carbs, fat for macros?
Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh. I know it's only 2 more numbers, but it's the difference for me of like getting to the end of the day, 6 grams of protein, 7 grams of carbs, 9 grams of fat, and you're just looking at all this food like nothing fits.
Yeah.
But then people are then like, okay, so then do I go over calories or protein or carbs or fat? When we can make it so much simpler and be like, hey, first thing, like we need to be sure that we're like kind of right at that calorie goal. And then next, like protein needs to be the priority.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, we can kind of like stair step up.
I do find that hard, like for myself, because I track all 3, and living within the confines of those like 3 groups is hard, and it's unmotivating once you get to the end of the day and you're like, you can only eat like 1 cracker and a corner of a piece of cheese, and living within the confines of those is stressful, and I find it like very like I've already screwed today, like might as well just have sleep for dinner, as you would say.
Sleep for dinner, yeah. I love saying that. If you've seen my Instagram video on this, it's the milk. If you splash like a little bit of milk on the counter and then you just decide to pour the rest of the gallon out on the floor because you're like, well, I already lost some of it, I might as well just pour out the entire gallon. More like specific sense when it comes to food, if you buy 12 cookies and you're like, I'm not eating any of these all week. What really ends up happening is like, kids get sick, you get rear-ended on the way to work. There's like, I don't know, something happens to where your week just starts to suck. And so you end up having like 2 or 3 on like Wednesday. And then like you're good on Thursday, and then Friday rolls around and you have 2 or 3 again. And, then you kind of do a little better on Saturday, but then you end up having, maybe 2 on Sunday. If we look at your calories over a week, as like an average, your average is still lower to have 1 cookie every day than it is to have 8 or 9 by the end of the week.
How do you feel like you stay motivated to continuously track your food?
So I like to use a negative memory, and this isn't always good, especially I know for a lot of girls it's probably not like the best idea.
I'll share mine after you.
I will think back to a moment I genuinely felt uncomfortable with how my stomach looked. The feeling of going off track is not going to feel better than how terrible that emotion was, to like feel disappointed with how I looked. And so I was like, is it worth having that moment come up more often? But yeah, that's how I kind of use like a negative memory as a positive influence going forward.
My mantra for like meticulously tracking macros has changed so much over time. I've been tracking macros probably for over a decade now. I've underfed myself, I've overfed myself in CrossFit and like competing and trying to be a professional athlete. It's gotten a lot more lax where I'm like, okay, well, like I can have like these Just Bare chicken strips in a salad, but also now understanding that like food really does fuel your body and you do need it to make muscle. And what anybody tells you out there, having muscle does make you skinnier. Or even if I get a little bit off track, there were times in my life where I was a little overly anxious about it. I still get a little anxious about it now, but it just seems like a lot of work. It really doesn't. I think once you get into the habit of it, like of weighing your food, and it really takes no extra time. And not saying you have to eat the same thing every day.
No. I just use similar ingredients
Yeah.
and they like different stuff.
Exactly. And there are macro-friendly recipes. I experiment with them all the time. If you'd like them, let me know. Do I think tracking macros is sustainable for your whole life? No.
Yeah, probably not.
I really don't, especially for like a busy mom of 4.
I think a busy mom of 4 can track her macros, but I think a lot of people should at least track their calories and protein for a little bit, just to know how much you're eating. Like, this is a very interesting study that was done. I'm not calling you a liar. I'm not calling you a truther. Oh, that's a Nickelodeon reference. So they have something called double labeled water. Double labeled water will basically give us, to the most accurate degree, how much food you've consumed, like how many calories you've consumed. And what they found was people were as much as 90% off. We actually just don't even really know how much we're eating. And sometimes that's because we don't track at all. And sometimes that's because all your snacks and all your times you pass by the fridge where like the cookies are up there and you grab one and you're like, well, that was 200 calories. Or like if you cook with a cooking oil, cooking oils can get to 200, 300, 400 calories really fast.
Yeah.
Or like your drinks, like your Starbucks drinks or whatever it is. Like,
I poured myself like a tiny little bowl of like the Quaker rice chips, if anybody eats those. And I think a serving size is like 28 grams.
Yeah.
Humbling how much 28 grams is. But that's okay. I think it's important for people to know that. And I think once you get into that habit, you can kind of be mindful when you're not tracking your macros of like, oh, okay, like I know about how much this is. And when you track for long enough, you can kind of get like the hang of what a serving size or what like an appropriate portion for you looks like.
There's times to maintain and then there's times to push. So if it's a time to push, like, hey, I'm 2 months out from a vacation, beach trip, or I want to look pretty good, that can be a time to push where maybe you do go to the gym a little more. You do track your food a little more often than you do before.
We're 30 days out for a Disney trip.
Oh, shoot. 30 days out. What are you most excited to do?
No, I'm just excited to be there. Like, I'm just excited to go because it will have been 5 months since we've that sounds crazy. It's been 5 months of dying.
Yeah, I'm excited for the vibes. There's a different type of happiness when you like walk into Epcot for the first time. You know?
So true.
It's just so amazing.
I know it's going to be warm, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We'll get over it.
I tell people this all the time. Like, we're in Texas, right? It can be hot. I can be hot here, or I can be hot in the most magical place on earth.
You're not going to be hot and upset.
I'm hot and upset here.
Yeah. 100%.
I'm hot and happy there.
100%. So we're going in June. We're staying at Coronado Springs in the tower. There will be a meetup of Magical Transformations people.
Ooh. If you're not in the group, what are you doing? Come meet us.
Then you don't get to meet us.
Yes, you don't get to meet us. Yeah, if you're there.
It's kind of a quick trip, though. We're going just for the weekend, but we're going to go back and do a longer trip.
We're pumped to go, and yeah, we're 30 days out. Right now, we're 29 days out.
How are we getting ready?
I'm like cutting. I'm trying to get lean, you know.
I think that's the weirdest thing anyway.
No,
I'm cutting for my Disney trip to go and eat.
No, I'm not, but I am going to do a video while we're there. Start to finish, like how does a Disney trip affect my physique?
The only thing that we have to do is just like get little things together. We're not going for very long. So like normally for like a longer trip, I'd be like collecting all of our little necessities, like our little toiletries and our little things like that. But I feel like for a summer trip too, we don't need as much, which is nice. We don't need as many jackets and pants.
Maybe on our next podcast we do like a full breakdown of like what our trip's going to look like and like the things we're going to review and stuff, you know. Thank you, Legion, for sponsoring this podcast. If you guys want some good, healthy, clean supplements, use code DisneyFit at Legion. You get that. It's the discounts are new. So if you listened before, so now if you use code DisneyFit at checkout, you get buy one, get your entire cart 50% off. Yeah. So if you get a thing of protein and you get protein, creatine, amino acids, greens, whatever, all the rest of it is 50% off, which is awesome. And then every time you come back, so let's say your second trip, you get 20% cash back every time. So if you buy $100 of supplements, you get $20 back that you can use on your next trip. And yeah, join the school group. That's our Disney fitness group, Magical Transformations. If you're not in it, you're missing out.
If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe because it allows us to continue making these videos for you.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and hope this is entertaining. We'll see you on the next one.